Hey gang, Mocha Boy here from Reddit Force. Welcome back and thanks for tuning back in. We're pausing a little bit with the war recaps and some of the how-to and tutorials because in case you haven't been following along, Reddit Force is doing one of the very first trophy pushes. Just for kicks and giggles. This is just something to break up the monotony of wars. In my position, this is something that we've never done as a clan, and after a lot of requests from the different members, and just kind of weighing that against what my opinion was in all of this, I figured it was probably time to start doing that. And there are a lot of reasons why you might want to try something like this as a clan. There are things that you do on the push up to champs that you cannot learn any other way. You could practice all you want in C1, or, in Crystal 3 or in Gold, but I mean that it isn't until you actually make the push to Masters 3 or even Champions League that you start to go through and start to develop a lot of the technical skills that you need to improve as a raider. And there are things like how to assess a Town Hall 10 base, what angles to attack, what angles to attack, being able to spot defensive deficiencies or traps, and knowing how to circumvent those traps. These are all things that you learn just by going through the process and failing a lot. Now, if you didn't follow along, the very first time I went up to champs, I did it as a very young TH9 using Balloonian. Just going for that 1 star and then doing that 200 or 300 times until I got up here. Because I mean, if you think about it, searching for 30 cup offers, but only getting 1 star on those bases, that's 10. That's 10 cups. So in best case scenario, if you never lose, for each range, you're talking about at a minimum about 20 raids. 20 times 10, 200 cups per. To take you through M3, M2, and M1. Now the problem is I failed a lot, and once you get to M1, you hit this range right around 3100, where the bases that you can actually hit with Balloonian are no longer offering 30 cups, and they're offering maybe 14 cups or 15 cups, and if you lose one of those, that becomes a 30 cup loss overall. So anyway, the second time around, I've come back with bigger heroes, max defenses, much better walls, and a fairly decent farming base. And I was able to do this run from Crystal 1 to Champs in about 70 raids. So that was. I was able to do about 70 raids, and I only failed at 1, and that was starting on Wednesday all the way on up to Friday, all the way on up to today, and now I'm sitting up in champs. I was actually kind of shocked that I was able to do this as quickly as I did. Just to answer some of the inevitable questions, I started off with about 3 million elixir and about 1.5 million gold, and I started with about 55,000 dark elixir. And on the run up here, just focusing on bases that I knew I could take, my DE stores dropped to about 35,000, and I've been focusing solely on bases post-league reset that offer like 3,000 or 4,000 dark elixir so that I can start replenishing my supplies. But I'm probably going to switch away from gowiwi and start farming up here with Balloonian and see how far that takes me. But yeah, so I wanted to just go over a couple of the raids that got me here. We don't have to go through the entire gamut because these pretty much represent the types of bases that I was looking for. This push is hard enough without having to make the challenge even harder for yourself. So I specifically looked for bases with low walls and low defenses, and there are actually quite a few of them on the way up here. So I mean, yes, you could probably go and take a max base if you want, but like I said, this challenge is hard enough without having to make it even more difficult for yourself. So let's take a look at this space. So yeah, 1 Town Hall 9 through gowiwi at that. That was no big deal. Let's just look at this quick replay. Hang on. Attack log. Pretty decent spread. There was a Lava Hound in the CC, which it provided a little bit of an issue, but the Wizards were able to deal with him pretty easily. But again, with gowiwi, it's really just about getting a good spread on your golems, making sure those Wizards get laid down and are the fire team support, the range support for those golems, and you just march through a base. My spell selection for this was 1 jump, 2 rages, and a heal. Now the heal I sometimes used, and it sometimes made a difference. I'm not still quite sure if I should have just taken a third rage, but partly the reason that I brought a heal was because it was a faster cook time, and I was having to, I was having to cook an entire full army, along with a a spread of spells, and even boosted. That's about 40 minutes of cook time, no matter how you cut it. Um, let's see here. And I tried to stay away from the Chief Pat bases. They're a little bit of a pain in the ass to hit, and there is a way to do it, but it's just not consistent. And until I get a chance to hit more of those bases, get a little bit more exposure to them, I'm probably just going to stay away from them. Let's see. But you do find a lot of these bases. So these low walls, low infernos, low defenses. You find tons of these up here, and if you're just patient enough, you can take them out. And really, what you're looking for when you're attacking these bases are the 2x2 spots, and obviously trying to keep your wizards and your witches away from that. Now, if you guys are fans of Clashing with Matty, I've reviewed his entire gowiwi push to champs. And he has a composition that he runs sometimes with witches, sometimes without witches, but with a lot of wizards. So we're talking about like 14, sometimes even 20 or some odd wizards. With the CC, I switched things up a little bit because one of the things that I noticed, and this is something that I learned in Clan Wars actually, was that giants are extremely useful for these gowiwi attacks. Now, if you notice on this attack here, the Infernos actually lock onto the Giants. So I bring 8 along, and they have one job. They have 2 jobs. They add DPS to defenses, and they soak up Inferno. They soak up Inferno beams. So multi-target Infernos can only attack 5 targets at one time, and a single one is only 1. So those giants, if you can get them within range of those infernos, will shield the rest of your troops long enough for them to sneak up behind and take care of all the damage. Now, at least in terms of this base, all of the bombs were outside; they weren't inside. So my DPS was able to stay alive. I mean, my wizards stayed alive, my witches stayed alive. Everything pretty much stayed alive until the end, and I was actually able to 3-star a few Town Hall 10s on the run up here. I mean, again, I was preying on weaker bases, but this was about maximizing my chances for succeeding. If somebody told you that you had to do 70 raids and not make a single mistake, it's pretty crazy. So you want to make sure that you are choosing the right bases and giving yourself the best possible chances for success. So that was that raid. That was a 3-star on a Town Hall 10, on a rushed Town Hall 10. This was another base that I liked, and let me just pause a little bit to talk about the types of bases that I hit. These pocket bases, where you have these nice sections, are absolutely awesome for gowiwi, and for one particular reason, because you set up your one side of the funnel here, one side of the funnel there. You toss a jump right in here, along with a rage, and once you get your golem, your 8 giants, a couple of witches spawning skeletons, and then the wizard fire support behind that, it takes maybe 10 seconds to process through these 2 pockets, and then move into the core of the base. Now, I typically would not broadside Infernos. Typically, I would come in from the southeast or the northwest to take on those Infernos at one time, but in this case, there were no bombs anywhere in here, plus there were no spaces for bombs internally, and they were set to single target. Now, having those 8 giants is one of the keys for making this work, because they will run up ahead and soak up those single target Inferno beams long enough for the range support to go in and sneak up on them. So yeah, I mean, I found that just having those 8 giants was the difference between having your witches and wizards survive and not. So it's something to consider when you're putting together your cooks and trying to determine what you want to bring for these. So, and this is a composition that I actually bring into Clan Wars as well. So it's typically 3 golems, 3 witches, about 8 wizards, 8 giants, 8 wall breakers, and then some extra trash cleanup. And this was something that I was able to do, like I said, 70 times, and I only failed once at this, a 49% on some weird trick base where the pathing just didn't work out for me. And When you're looking for these bases, I'm going to point out a few other things so that you understand like how I assessed bases. And it wasn't uncommon to have to search for about 30 or 40 searches, 50 searches, looking for the right base. And remember, next is your friend when you're up here. There's no point in going through all of this rigmarole if you're going to choose a base that you're going to fail on. So let's take a look at just one more. This was, let's see. Actually, this was one of the ones I was looking to just refill my stores. So let's pause and take a look at this base. The key considerations that you're looking for are, do you have a my first thing, the first question that I ask is, can I get one of the one of the infernos put down as quickly as possible? It's not about getting to the town hall, although that's important. It's about putting down one of those infernos as quickly as you can, so that the rest of your forces can move up and take out the town hall. So in this particular case, this is nothing more than a single jump right here, taking care of these spaces, or noting these spaces as potential double giant bomb, or double bomb, excuse me, big bomb, giant bomb locations, that could end up wiping out your forces. And you want to spread out your DPS as much as possible. One of the big mistakes that I see people make when they do gowiwi raids is they dump everything in one clump in the center, and all it takes is one big bomb to take out that entire troop of DPS, and then you're cooked. So golem, golem, golem. And then your main DPS push force is going to go straight into this core here once once these corners get carved out. And then once you're in, it's just about raging on top of that inferno and making sure that your DPS makes it in. So DPS down here, one witch, one witch, one witch. Spread out those forces as much as you can. And then the giants come in. Now the giants are really useful for a lot of different reasons, but you're putting up a wall to make sure that your DPS doesn't get cooked on the way in. But they also have a tendency to trip bombs, which is really fantastic. So you run them in there, and as they're kind of marching through a base to take out those defenses, they're also triggering those big bombs. So in this case, I mean, up against level 3 infernos, skull walls, high defenses, not completely maxed out, but again, look at the giants, look at the golems, soaking up 5 of the inferno beams, and that gives the rest of your troops a clean path in to take out the town hall. Now, one of the things is I made a huge investment in getting my heroes up to speed, and I would have to say that in probably 80% or 90% of the attacks up here, it came down to delivering the AQ to the town hall. And again, I picked bases specifically that I knew I could carve out a corner, that I could carve out 2 corners, and then send in that coring team with the heroes and then DPS support to take out that base. And I was able to pretty consistently take bases down for about 60 or 70%, using a full spread of spells and heroes along with their abilities. So I was pretty excited about that. I'm going to do just a quick run through a few different types of bases so that we can see what's coming up here. Again, this is Monday after the league reset, so there are a lot of you're going to see a lot of dead bases, a lot of empty clan castles as people fall out of their push clans and go back to their war clans or whatever. But these are the types of bases that I would look for. Purple walls, lowish defenses, single target or set to so yeah, bases like this are pretty typical. Purple walls, Inferno set to multi-target as well as single. These are really good examples of bases that I would absolutely hit. And in this particular case, one thing that you have to make sure that you don't do is that you want to pick a path that puts the town hall or the infernos kind of in the middle between your force and then the archer queen or the royals, because they do have a tendency to pull you away from the core. So that's something to be very careful with. You either take them out first or angle your attack in such a way that it puts your target directly in between where you start your deployment and where the archer queens are. So in this case, if my target was to take out this inferno or to take out this inferno, I would come in from the northeast to take out the AQ first, potentially take out the clan castle, and then immediately get my forces on top of that inferno. So that's definitely one consideration. And you see a lot of trick bases up here. They're going to be they're going to be southern teasers. Just attack them from the north. Eastern western teasers, again, just attack them from the north, and just make sure you have your pathing set up so that they work out properly. So let's see another few bases here. Another good example of a base that I would absolutely attack. You're going to see quad Teslas in this core, so you can attack from the northeast, northwest, and be on top of the town hall in no time. And you would use the heroes in this respect to pull your forces into the core. So you could just do a clean attack from the north, golem, 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 couple wizards, and then the bulk of your force up here, along with the jump to get them right into that town hall, and then that would be an easy 2-star right there. So. Let's see, let's look at one more base. Yeah, and these open bases, again, are really fantastic for jumping troops into the core. Golem, main fire team here, just push them right into that inferno, along with the jump right here to take to bridge those compartments, and you're in the core. These kinds of bases are really susceptible, or they defend really well against gowiwi, but not so much against gowiwi, because the defense-led troops get sucked into the core, even despite this ring of trash and this internal ring of trash. So that's another thing to consider. So yeah, I mean that's about it. I was really surprised that I was able to make it up here so quickly. It kind of started as a whim, and then I said, hey, I might actually be able to take this the entire distance. So it was Hog Giant Healer, all the way on up to Masters 3-starring every base in the process, and then gowiwi the entire run up. And this was, these are my logs. Town Hall 10s, Town Hall 9s, a couple of snipes in the process. I didn't get attacked a single time the entire way up here. I played in really long sessions and then logged off, picked up the snipe. I picked up the snipe pretty much in every single scenario. The only time I got attacked was when I was down in Crystal 3, which was a lot of fun there. But yeah, I mean, people see the base, they're willing to pick up that 1 cup and then just move on. It's entirely, really what the gamble comes down to is whether or not a champ can find you before somebody who is pushing finds you. So like right around now, where not too many people are pushing and they're just kind of chilling out and farming, it's a good time to just leave your town hall out and just take the snipe. I mean, if you have low walls, then you're probably going to get cooked, but a base like mine is just not worth the trouble of attacking. For somebody who's up here, not when they can go and just snipe me, take the bonus, 1200 DE, 100. Let's see what it is. It's 100 and I want to say 1200 DE and then 140,000, 180,000. I mean, that's a huge bonus. Most people will take that trade, except for obviously for the folks that don't need any resources. So. Yeah, that's my log. I mean, I would have wanted to have split this up into a number of different raids, but I mean, this went so quickly that I figured it was just faster to give you the end result here. So I hope you thought that was interesting. And for a lot of the other folks in Reddit Force that are pushing, you don't have to follow this route, obviously, because a lot of you don't have heroes in this range, but you can do Balloonian and just see how high you go and see where we're at. Now, as a clan, we haven't even started the push. We're going to be officially starting in about an hour, but even without starting the push, we are currently ranked. Let's see. Sorry. Even without the push, we are currently ranked 1198 in the world. And the rest of us are just going to casually move up. We're not going to tax ourselves too hard. But Reddit Force did create 2 push teams internally, and they're competing against each other to see who is going to come out on top with the most trophy contributions by the end of this event. And at the end of this event, we've got prizes for everybody. It's going to be a good time, and yeah. So what I will do is we are in the middle of a couple of different wars. We haven't stopped warring, but we have moved down to smaller teams while we do this push. But we were able to. Let's see if I can get this up. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna farm up here for a while, and if I have anything interesting to share, I'll definitely post those video recaps later on in the week. So thanks for tuning in.